What up, y'all? I was thinking today, I've recently noticed that I've just been out of a lot of energy, and whether that be, physically, sometimes I may be tired, may need to take a little nap, or whether it be, social, like a social battery. You may feel like you don't have the energy to talk to people as long as you usually do, or you just can't deal with people in a way. I feel like sometimes recently I've been almost neglecting myself. And I feel like it's a bad thing, but I feel like it was a good thing because it allowed me to learn. Something that I've noticed that can give you a lot of energy is forgiveness. And when you think of forgiveness, you think of, maybe you had an altercation with somebody, maybe they did you wrong, and they asked for your forgiveness. They're like, "Can you forgive me?" And a big thing that I see here is people tend to forgive that other person, for that other person. And I feel like forgiveness should be for you. You could do somebody dirty too, I guess, and you could beg for forgiveness. But sometimes it's just, you just gotta forgive for you, you know? Forgiveness is a powerful tool for like achieving ultimate, peace, both internally and, like I said, in a relationship with others. When we forgive people, we let go of that, that stress and that resentment and the weight of those past, experiences or that past hurt that you may feel, which ultimately frees ourselves from the emotional burden that, stops us from having that energy or maybe experiencing happiness or those new interactions or experiences. I feel like it is important to understand that everyone, including you, is beautifully flawed. Doing that allows us to, approach others and ourselves with empathy and compassion. Empathy is so important because instead of looking at those people with like, a negative connotation, you can just be empathetic towards them if they have done something bad or if they did you dirty, and you can just kind of forgive for you. Those imperfections that you have, that the neighboring person next to you has, that your mom has, that your dad has, they're all just a part of being a human. And by accepting them, we kind of embrace the idea that, those things, those mistakes that we have made are not final judgments of our character, but rather opportunities for learning and growth. This mindset ultimately fosters, sense of peace, and it enables us to see beyond, that anger that you feel or that judgment that you may hold. And it creates a space for healing, connection, and ultimately understanding that we all are, at our core, doing the best we can in this imperfect environment or imperfect situation, our imperfect world. And it all starts with forgiveness. There's so many things that happen to you on a day to day that can be negative. And when I give those, when I give attention to those things, that's why I feel drained. That's why I feel like I have to take a nap every day sometimes. That's why I feel like I can't talk to people as long or as rich as I used to. Um, and you may feel like this just happens with random people, but I've noticed that that's not even true. It happens to everyone around you, whether it be your parents or your friends, like super close friends, or anybody. one person that I've learned I had to forgive was my parents. Holding hatred against my parents for things that have happened in the past or something that they may have not known that made me, feel sad or aggravated, I realized that gets you nowhere. And I have to remember that they're on their first life too. And nobody knows you as much as you know yourself. And your parents probably know you the most. And they still don't know everything about you. So you have to understand that it's okay. Forgive. Make sure you forgive them. Because holding hatred towards them does nothing. It's just negative. Another thing that I've noticed I've had to forgive is past friendships, whether it be ended because of a conflict or just you outgrow somebody. Just learn to forgive. Holding past experience against somebody or a past situation is pointless. It's in the past. We all have to learn and grow. And if you hold that negative energy, it'll just bring negative things in your life. Past relationships is a big one, with a significant other. Learn to forgive them. And ultimately, forgive anything that tends to keep hold of you emotionally, as that's the reason why you feel like you don't have a lot of energy or you constantly feel like you're on a negative spiral, because these negative things have captivated you. You have to learn that they are not you and they are negative because you give them so much energy and you haven't learned to forgive those things. And finally, the biggest thing that I think you should forgive is your past self. You did the best with what you had. And even if you feel as if you didn't, you can now do the best with what you have currently. And I feel like that's the beauty of life. Forgiving ultimately is the key to a peaceful life. And when you forgive, you can understand that everyone, including you, is just beautifully flawed. We are all beautiful individuals. And if you feel as if you struggle with having enough energy or you're not like as big or as strong as the person next to you, know that you are beautiful because you're you. And even though you aren't big and strong, or you may not be big and strong, or you may not be as smart as the valedictorian, or you may not be as good as that D1 basketball player, you are perfect because you're you. So go embrace yourself. Go and be you. Love you. Remember to forgive yourself and forgive others, as holding a grudge is more detrimental than it is good. Even though some of the things you may have encountered in your life are very, terrible, there can be things that are, you could go to jail for some of the things that you have encountered, like other people could have if they've done them to you. And just know, when you forgive somebody, you are not justifying their actions. You are letting it go. You are just moving on. Forgive for you. Hope you guys have a blessed weekend. Stay safe. Deuces, y'all.